everyone, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. So we are just coming off of the pre-release of the next Digimon TCG set, Great Legend. And with this new set, we've got a lot of new awesome cards to work with. And one of the cards that I was most excited to work with and build a deck around is the new Chaosmon. And there's actually two new Chaosmons. So what I've done today is I have put together like a preliminary list of what I think I am going to at least try out for a Chaosmon deck. The idea is that this is a Turbo Chaosmon deck, so I don't really want to be doing too much with the deck other than just trying to get up to level 6s and 7s as quickly as possible. So that is basically the plan with this deck, is to get up to Titamons and ultimately the Chaosmons as quickly as possible and then close out the game from there. I will also say that this is just, again, a theory. I have not built this deck yet, nor have I done any playtesting with it. So if you are watching this video and you have any feedback for me, feel free to leave that in the comments down below. But yeah, let's jump into it. So we're going to start out with the babies. So I have 1 copy of Argamon and 4 copies of Minomon. The reason why I went with 1 copy of Argamon instead of like the inverse or just more copies of Argamon is because typically with this deck, I don't really see myself swinging into their security unless I'm swinging in with like a Titamon or a Chaosmon. So because of that, my Digimon aren't really going to be suspended all that often. There is a little bit of Digisorption in this deck, so when playing with it, I might, you know, decide to change this around from like 1, maybe go to like 2 Argamons and 3 Minomons. But this is what I'm working with right now. And then the 4 Minomons, being able to boost your Digipower by 1000 when you attack another opponent's Digimon is very, very good. The regular rare Chaosmon will make very good use of this. So that's basically why I've got 4 Minomons, is because the regular rare Chaosmon will be attacking your opponent's Digimon, and this is just a nice guaranteed way to get an extra boost to boost the Chaosmon up to 15k. And then you can see the Agumon underneath me here. If the Agumon is on in the stack as well, then it'll be a 16k Chaosmon, and then nothing will be able to kill that in security. So that's why I went with this split here, but again, if you have feedback for me, feel free to leave that in the comments down below. Alright, so now let's get into the rookies. Like I said, because this is a turbo deck, the rookies are pretty standard. I have 4 copies of Goblumon and 4 copies of Argamon. This is essentially the exact same card. 2 to hardcast, 3k power, 0 to evolve, vanilla, no inheritable. So basically just 8 copies of a very, very cheap rookie. 0 to Digivolve, obviously that's what you want on your rookies, especially in a turbo deck. And with them having a 2 cost to play from your hand, very, very useful for being able to memory starve your opponent, and, you know, just very, very cheap rookies to get onto the field. And then we've got 4 copies of Agumon. Agumon is one of my favorite green rookies. Again, 0 to evolve, which is really good. 3 for a rookie is fairly standard. It's nice when you can have a cost of 2 to hard cast it. But a cost of 3 to hard cast it, again, is pretty standard on a rookie, so that's fine. And then just the inheritable is a very, very good inheritable. Just a flat 1k boost to whatever's on top of it is very, very good and super consistent. And then to close out the rookies, we have 2 copies of Terriermon. I really, really like Terriermon being able to prevent your opponent from gaining memory unless it's with a Tamer effect. So if you're playing against blue, Terriermon renders their Hammer Sparks useless, which is really, really nice because if you were to hit it in security, they would gain 2 memory off of that, but not if Terriermon's on the field, so that is really, really nice. But yeah, that closes out the rookies. So we have 14 rookies here. And then getting into the champions, we have 4 copies of Vegemon. Again, just a very, very good and cheap champion Digimon to help turbo up into the higher stages. 1 to Digivolve is very, very good. 4 to hard play is also very, very good. If you brick and you have to hard cast a level 4, only having to pay 4 memory to do so is quite good. And the 6k power is nice if you have to throw it into security and you have an Agumon underneath it, then at least you can get over the 6ks, which is most of the blockers and whatnot. So it's nice if you have to do that as like a worst case scenario. But again, like I said, I don't see myself throwing the little guys at security. You want to just turbo up into the big stuff. Then we have 4 copies of Gargamon. Now this is one of the Digimon that I'm still not 100% sold on. Basically, this slot was a toss-up between Gargamon or Stingmon. And I'll really just have to see when it comes to playtesting if I get more value out of the Gargamon, or if any scenario that I had the Gargamon out, or on the stack rather, I would have preferred it to be a Stingmon. Stingmon is basically just a level 4 version of Akuamon, but only triggers once per turn, but that's fine because you're not really going to be getting multiple attacks with this deck in anyways. But yeah, again, Gargamon is just a 1 cost to evolve, 5 to hard cast if you have to. The 4k power, again, doesn't really matter because you're not going to be throwing your level 4s into security anyways, unless you're in a really, really bad situation. But yeah, the 1 cost to evolve is the main reason why I went with this, and also because of the inheritable effect, whatever's on top of this gets 1k boost for every one of your opponent's suspended Digimon. Now, there are quite a few things in this deck that can suspend your opponent's Digimon because we're playing green, so that is partly why I wanted to go with Gargamon instead of Stingmon. But like I said, when we get into playtesting, I'll see what I end up liking better. And then 3 copies of Woodmon as a blocker. I've been seeing a lot of decks lately only run 3 blockers instead of 4. So I'm feeling okay with trying this out with 3 Woodmons. If it feels like there's just too much Rookie Rush in the format, then I'll definitely change this. Woodmon will eventually get replaced by I think it's the Kabuterimon in the green starter deck. Whatever is in the green starter deck that has blocker, I believe that's a 1 cost to evolve. So we're using Woodmon for now because you basically want to be running blockers no matter what, but this will eventually get replaced with a cheaper to evolve blocker, and then that just further helps the turbo. So that brings us to 11 champions. We got 4, 4, and 3 there. All right, getting into our ultimates, we have 1 copy of the level 5 Argamon because this card you are restricted to only have 1 in your deck, and it makes sense because this card is broken. So it has Digisorption 3, so you can suspend one of your Digimon to make it evolve for basically free, which is super nice because, like I said, you're not going to be throwing your little stuff into security, so it doesn't really matter if you... if it's suspended. It's actually more helpful that it's not being thrown into security so that you can use it for your Argamon and then for Blossmon as well. But also, like, Terriermon is a Digimon that you're not really going to be doing anything with. Terriermon's job is just to sit there on the field and prevent your opponent from gaining memory. So Terriermon is a perfect Digimon to be able to just suspend so that you can get a Digisorption ability resolved. And then the inheritable on Argamon is incredibly good, being able to put rookies from your hand onto the field. We don't have any rookies that have any on-play effects, so we're not getting any additional benefit there. But just being able to get extra rookies from your hand onto the field is quite good. And then we have 3 copies of Blossmon, which is essentially... It's kind of like an Argamon because it's Digisorption 3, so you get a free level 5 if you've got a Digimon that you can suspend, but it doesn't have an inheritable, but again, that's fine, because we just want to turbo up to the big stuff as quickly as possible. And then to close out the ultimates, we have 4 copies of Akuamon. If you've got something on top of this and then they attack another Digimon and you survive, you gain a memory, which is quite nice. I really, really like Akuamon when I was playing green in the 1.0 format. Very, very useful. So I really, really like this card. And again, being able to evolve for 2 if you have to evolve into this one and you don't you can't get a free evolution off of an Argamon or a Blossmon, then Digivolving for 2 is not that bad. All right, now getting into the megas. So we have 4 copies of Titamon. I absolutely love Titamon. Very, very cheap mega to evolve into. It's only a 2 cost to evolve, and then 12k power on this thing is very, very good. In the 1.0 format, I did play the green Titamon deck, and I really, really enjoyed it. So being able to use Titamon again as like a turbo piece to get into something even bigger, now that we have green level 7s, just feels really, really cool. There's no effect on Titamon, no inheritable or anything like that. It's just a 12k beat stick with a very, very cheap evolution. Then we've got 2 copies of Puppetmon to close out the level 6s. I'd feel wrong playing green and not playing Puppetmon. Puppetmon is just so incredibly strong. So you're never going to be evolving this. You're always going to be hardcasting it. Unless you're in like a really, really bad situation. But I don't think I've ever had to evolve into a Puppetmon just yet. But first time for everything, I suppose. But yeah, Puppetmon just incredibly good, being able to lock down your opponent's board, super super good. And then especially like if you have to hardcast a Puppetmon because like maybe a Titamon found an Omnimon or a Gaia Force in security or something like that, and you're in kind of like a sticky situation and you have to throw down a Puppetmon to kind of like buy yourself a turn, you can then evolve a Chaosmon on top of the Puppetmon and still be able to get a Chaosmon onto the field. So yeah, really, really nice with Puppetmon there. And then it gains a memory when you attack. Even if it dies to the security check, you still gain that memory because it triggers when attacking, not after the attack has resolved. And then getting into the namesake Digimon of the deck, we've got Chaosmon. So there, like I said, there are 2 copies of Chaosmon in BT4. We have the regular rare Chaosmon, which can digivolve from green and black, and then we have Chaosmon Volderarm, which is the super rare, and this can digivolve from green or yellow. So I'm running both of them, obviously, because they can both digivolve from green. They make very, very good, they pair very nicely with a green turbo deck. And the reason why I went with 5 only is because I don't want to brick on level 7s. They cost 15 to play, so you're never hard casting them, and you don't even want to because of their really strong when digivolving effects. So you always want to be digivolving these, and like I just don't want to brick with, like, I don't want to get an opening hand where I've got, like 3 Chaosmons and it's just like, no rookies, and then I'm just stuck. Like at least if I open up with like Titamon or puppets, they're reasonable costs. Reasonable, I mean like you can play them and you don't have to worry about having like a memory tamer out to like bring you further into your side so that you can afford the 15 cost. So yeah, that's why I'm going with 5. I just don't want to brick on the Chaosmons, and I went with 3 of the regular rare and 2 of the super rare. Again, I'll have to see in testing if I want to switch this up or not, but both of these Chaosmons are very, very good. The regular rare one has Piercing, which is super strong, especially as a 14k. It's having Piercing is very, very good. And then when digivolving, you get to unsuspend this Digimon, and then it can attack one of your opponent's Digimon. You can also attack a unsuspended Digimon, which is very, very good. And also that attack resolves as part of the when digivolving effect. So even if you pay the 6 and you push the memory slider into your opponent's side, you still get the attack before their turn begins. So if you've got like an Akuamon underneath it, and this is part of why I was contemplating Stingmon instead of Gargamon. If you've got a stack that's got like that's got an Akuamon underneath it, and you kill something, you gain 1 memory, so you move the memory slider 1 back to your side, so your opponent has even less memory to work with. It almost kind of makes it like a 5 cost to evolve if you've got an Akuamon underneath it, and then if you had a stack that had Akuamon and Stingmon, it would almost be like a 4 cost to evolve. So that's partly why I'm contemplating Stingmon, but again, we'll see when it comes to testing. And then Chaosmon Volderarm is when digivolving, you get to do -7k to 2 of your opponent's Digimon, or you can do -7k to 1 Digimon twice. So really, really good removal there. That -14k, if you target the same Digimon twice, can clear pretty much everything in the game apart from Omnis. And then, or if you just want to split it, 7k to a couple things that can clear out some blockers if your opponent's got a wall up of a couple blockers. Just very, very good removal. And then when it gets deleted, you gain 3 memory. It doesn't matter on whose turn it is. It's not like on deletion on your turn, gain 3 memory. It's just when this thing gets deleted, you gain 3 memory, which is really, really nice. So if you throw it into security and it does die to an Omni, then at least you're getting 3 memory out of it. And then the last 2 cards that we have in the deck are 4 copies of Flower Cannon. Again, very similar to Puppetmon. Playing green feels wrong to not add Flower Cannons into the deck. It's such a strong card, especially if they hit it in your security. And then 2 copies of Mimi. I really, really like Mimi. She's a very, very good tamer for green. Just being able to accelerate stuff out of the raising area and setting your memory slider to 3 at the start of your turn is very, very good. So yeah, that is the Green Turbo Chaosmon deck. Again, if you have any suggestions or things that I might not be considering, feel free to leave them in the comments down below. I would love to kind of collaborate and refine this list. I'm really excited to start testing this list out and play it in some upcoming events. I really, really like playing green, and figuring out a way to make the new Chaosmon work just feels really, really cool. So yeah, I'm really, really excited to get this list tested out. If this is your first time here, feel free to consider subscribing, and be sure to hit that thumbs up button down below if you enjoyed this video. Thank you everybody so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you in the next one.